Welcome back to the Global Gaming Network, your source for everything gaming and esports. I am going to be your host today, Chris, PartyFoul, Celecia, and this is the state of. On today's episode of State of, we'll be talking about tech pauses with Riot, and well, they've been plaguing the EMEA scene really heavily over the past couple of weeks, and well, it's been plaguing them since the beginning of franchising, but it's been getting noticeably worse throughout the years. And well, Team Liquid versus Koi probably had one of the worst, where we had an hour-long tech pause, but leading up to that, we had five total in the first 5 rounds, and then a 6th one leading up in the 19th round. Luckily, they did finish the round after that. Team Liquid did take the win on split, but can you imagine 6 tech pauses in one game, one even being over an hour long? This was creating so much discomfort for the players. You could see it, their hands in their faces, leaning back, almost even falling asleep at one point, because what can you do? You can't talk to your teammates during these tech pauses. You can just sit there in silence. And well, when you have so many, it's just uncomfortable for everyone, the viewer, the casters, and the players themselves. So what is going on with Riot right now? How are they allowing this to go on? You know, we've heard from so many pros, especially Durka, who has said that they have been letting Riot know this throughout so many seasons. Since franchising had begun, they had been telling them about these issues, and Riot had told them to be patient. But how long can you be patient for? We're going on so many years now, and they're still happening. Well, this is what has happened. We'll take a look at some of the tweets and what everyone's been saying, but can you imagine that in a tweet from Daniel, he said to them as well that we're going to be looking at the issue, but can we get to 6? How many times does it have to happen before they finally replace it? Well, they finally are going to do it. They did put out a tweet that they said that they are going to be postponing the match from the Liquid and Koi, saying that, well, because of these issues that, well, now they're going to get new equipment in. But again, this is going across every region. So are they going to do it for every region? Right now, we only see it happening for Europe. So we'll have to see what they do. But again, they've gotten to the point of where it's been so bad that everyone's complaining. We saw casters, Durka, Tins even said in one of his tweets as well, when he replied to Durka, saying that, well, this is part of the reason as to why he also hung up the mouse, is because these issues were getting so bad. So when it's happening like this, why did it take Riot so long to take notice? And why are they only doing it now after a game where it had been postponed 6 times, and then they had to stop the match because it couldn't go on any further after the map 1 win by Team Liquid for them to make the changes? So we have to wonder why, and if they're going to make any of those changes for any of the other regions, because we know it happens not only in the play within the specific regions themselves, but when they go into tournaments, into international tournaments as well, that is happening. And it's not only happening in Valorant as well. Although we see a little bit lesser on the League of Legends side, it does happen. We do have those timeouts for the technical issues, which end up causing a lot of discomfort for the players, as I said, you know, because you come in and maybe this is your first time playing, or maybe it could be your 100th time playing. It's not going to matter. When you have a tech pause that's not something due to a player known issue, then it stops the game, it cools down, and maybe the players don't feel the best themselves, especially an hour long. What are you supposed to do? Sing in silence all the time? They keep you at the station that, well, you can't get up, you can't go to the bathroom because of the issue that's ongoing. You don't know when it's going to fix. They don't either. So they keep you there and you just have to sit there. This game took 4 hours for one map to get finished. That's right, 4 hours. And we've seen across other ones, we've had 30-minute pauses in League of Legends that have contributed to this due to technical issues as well. So Riot, what are we doing here? Are we going to be able to fix it? Are we not? But we do know for at least EMEA itself that they had gone ahead and they pushed out new PCs. So what they did is that they pushed out new PCs and they had them in transit. On the 29th, they started some internal testing from Rioters themselves. Then on the 30th, they had a pro player test where the pro players stress test the server. And then they had PC interaction audits the 28th through the 30th as well. Luckily, Durka did said that it does feel a lot better, although there were still a little bit of issues that went on in the early stages of those map testings once they had the new PCs out. But again, this is only Europe. This is only Europe that has done it. North America still has some of these issues. We've seen it in Pacific as well. So we'll have to see if they decide to go and, you know, clean up for the rest, because this is the breaking point. We've seen it through many of the pro players. If you go and watch some of the streams, some of the reactions to this, the co-casters who are doing this for a living, who are helping trying to provide views for Riot, are upset with it. And then you look at the player base, you know, you have an average viewer. If you have an hour-long session where they're not playing, they're going to turn off, they're not going to watch anymore. They may not even come back after that. So that's going to hurt your viewership count. And then we have the people who are visiting, because remember, this is happening in an arena as well. There were people who may have traveled to this, and then they're trying to give them a little bit of consolation, saying if you have traveled so many miles to get there, that they would try to give you some sort of way to get back and help you out and maybe refund you a little bit. But remember, this is your whole entire day. This could be the whole entire weekend. Maybe this is a match that they really want to see, and they could only take it off for that specific weekend because they have to work or maybe they have school, and well, they have to go back and they can't maybe come back, even though Riot's trying to help them out and get them back in there. They can't do it because time doesn't allow. So again, these tech issues are not only for the players. Of course, the players are the number one. We don't want them to have to go through this. But as a viewer, as the co-casters as well, the casters, they had to get a whole new casting desk. So that starts on Friday the 2nd. When they do start again, they had to get a whole nother casting talent to go back out there to go and redo the match for Corey versus Liquid, which starts on that second map as well. But they had to fly everyone out there. This pushes back playoffs another week as well, because we should have been going on to playoffs, because last week, week 5, was supposed to be the last one. So these tech issues are messing everything up, and we're trying to wonder why Riot hasn't fixed it until now. And will they be able to consistently make changes at a faster pace, that if this happens in the future, that it doesn't happen at a prolonging, lasting effect that we saw it have in this match as well. Now, again, they did fix those PCs, but server side, have they made sure that it's stable enough that they can play on the offline servers when they're in there, so that the ping is lower for the players and they don't have to play online in important matches? We'll have to see. But again, tech pauses, Riot are going hand in hand, and we need to get them separated. We want to make sure that everyone is having the best possible viewing experience, no matter whether you're a viewer, a caster, or a player yourself. Riot, get it together and make sure that we don't have that many tech pauses going forward. This has been The State of. Thank you.